Hi, everyone. This is Joan, and I hope that you're having a great day. Well, anyway, what you're looking at is Luke 23:27 through 29. These are the scriptures that I keep pulling out, trying to explain to people that the things that are happening now were foretold. So let me read. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. Now, to me, that stands out like a great company of people. Doesn't that include women? It's kind of like they're already saying that the women are not quite people. Doesn't that sound like what happens when these incel men, instead of saying calling someone a woman, they'll say a female? Anyway, that's not even a major point. Let me continue on. But Jesus turning unto them said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming, in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bare and the paps which never gave suck. Okay, picture this. He is being tortured. He has already been tortured. He is being forced to carry a very heavy object that is actually just too heavy for him to bear, but he's being forced to do it anyway. The women are crying after him because, unlike the depiction in that I just read in verse 27, where women are looked at as not quite people, the Savior did look at women as people. He treated women kindly. He also was a prophet, and he's the greatest prophet. And what did he say was going to happen to women? He was saying that even though right now I am about to go to my death, I am in great excruciating pain, still, don't cry for me, cry for yourselves and for your children. Now, I have made this point before, and it's kind of like I'm making a point to women who are saying that um, we don't know why this is happening or what, or exactly, we just don't even think anything's happening. They call women like that the pick meshas and stuff, and I'm not too much into calling people names. I'm just saying that so you know who I'm referencing. But then you have the women who say, 4B, we just want to give up on men, period. Well, the Savior already told you that's what was going to happen. What did he say? In the days that are coming. Basically, that means the last days. He's giving you a reference point to what the last days are going to look like. In the last days, people are going to say, hey, you're better off if you didn't get married or have children or do anything. Isn't that what the 4B thing is telling you? The whole ideal is give up on these men. Now, I am not saying anything about 4B. I have been 4B. I believe you can jump in and out of 4B. I have been 4B since 1999, and that's when I was married. I looked around and said, "Oh Lord, no, forget this. I know what I escaped through divorce. I won't make that mistake again." So a lot of people already were. A lot of black women in particular have been living 4B lives. And, it's not like men didn't encourage you to just say, I don't know why you don't like me. Well, now, these last few years, you've been telling women why you don't like them. And I think, it's a time thing. I'm sorry, the Savior gave you the information on what will the last days look like. One of the criteria he listed was that, you're going to be better off if you don't have children. If you're a woman, the thing is, the church will tell you just the opposite. The church will tell you that you're doing something totally wrong, or the men of the church will tell you that. Now, I thought this is from the Amy J Again channel, And I thought that this was very interesting. She's showing a lot of men's reactions to 4B movement. So I'm going to turn it up as loud as I can, and hopefully you can hear it. If not, please go to Amy J again and listen to this. Hold on, please. Now, he is totally contradicting what the Savior said. The Savior said, blessed will be blessed are the womb, blessed is the womb. You know what I what I just read. Blessed is the womb that doesn't produce, and the breast that never gives suck. Blessed is yeah. So this guy's saying, no, 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 don't listen to him. Listen to me. I'm saying that if you don't get out there and, procreate with us, that you must be gay. Well, no, you just want to live because, I'm not saying all men are dangerous, but I do remember when people first started getting, for back in the day, German Shepherd dog, that was the dog you wanted. And when you would visit a friend, you would ask, does your dog bite? And there was always someone who would step up and say, well, he's got teeth, doesn't he? Well, not equating men with dogs, but the fact is, I do think women have to offer men respect for their physical prowess, for the fact that the average man really can hurt the average woman more than she can hurt him, provided no weapons are involved. So I do think that, yeah, respect them for that because even without trying, they are stronger physically than women are. So that much, yeah, I think when it says that women are the weaker vessel, I think that's what it means. It's not saying it's not saying mentally, it's telling you physically, you can't take this guy. So don't even try it. So let's continue on with what he's saying. Well, actually, if you look at it, if you look at the original ideal of men and women do not have relations until they are married, and they do not get married unless the man has proven himself to be able to provide. So that is also kind of similar to the 4B movement, in that it's not telling women, well, go out and sleep with each other. It's saying don't sleep with anybody. Actually, it's telling men the same thing, but they usually kind of ignored it. But it's saying don't sleep with anybody unless you marry them, and don't get married unless you can afford to marry someone. I think in ancient times, even if you go back to the Garden of Eden, what did God tell Adam to do before he was allowed to have Eve? He said, go work the fields and name the animals. He gave him both physical and mental work to do. The difference is now men don't want to do any kind of work. They just want you to walk up and sleep with them if they want you to, and then go away when they don't want you to. And how dare you even suggest that they pay for any children that come from that? So, I think it is a reasonable response to say, I'm not sleeping with you. You don't want to marry me or support any children that show up. This is not misandry. This is loving yourself. This is saying, hey, God created me not to be down here and suffer for you. The curse on women was your craving will be for your husband and he will dominate you. This is what you are living. One of the major points that I'm trying to make is that people are searching for answers. Women are searching for answers. They're coming up with all different terms for what God already told you to do. Don't do it. Don't, if he doesn't marry you, if you look, I think it's at Joel 14 where God says, okay, I understand that these men won't marry you unless you sleep with them, so sleep with them. I'm not even going to be mad at you. But the original plan was he had to earn you. So the whole idea of, well, I'm the man, I'm the prize. Maybe you're the prize to yourself, but the scriptures also say that he who has a wife has a good thing. It didn't even say a good wife, it just said a wife, and that a wife had to be earned. The wife is the prize. So the whole thing where women, I have nothing against whatever kind of movement you have, the feminist movement, 4B movement, corset movement, all of them have their basis in what the Bible already said and in valuing yourself, women, that you are that anytime you're acting like a slave, you're acting through a curse. I do think that curses are being lifted. That's why everyone is being so vocal. And I also think you're supposed to be vocal because the Savior said, cry for yourselves and for your children. He didn't say do it if men approve. Of course, they won't approve. They want to have power over you, even if it means tearing down the whole community. Look at the black community, not the best parts of it. Look at the average parts of it and see what I mean. Okay, but let's continue on with what this great man has to say. So, who are you going to listen to? This guy or the Savior who said, hey, you better off if you don't, you know? Because a lot of what I've heard, especially black men saying in the last few years, is that they don't feel that that they should even be asked to uh, protect and provide. When actually, when you look at it, Adam was made before Eve and told to go work the fields and name the animals. Well, I think the reason why he was put there first was so that he could protect. Because I also don't believe they were the only people in that or the only creatures in that garden. I think that's why he was put there first and given muscles. He was supposed to use them. And I also think when men don't use their muscles on something outside the family, they take it back home to the family. It's like they just have to fight something. They have to struggle and destroy something. And if they don't have that outlet, then they take it home and start tearing their own families down. But that is just another theory. But let's just continue to listen to this person. Again, this is not hatred of men. This is self-preservation. People who talk like this, the men who talk like this, are not in any way looking at the female, I forget what you call it, but the rate that women are being killed, and very often by men. And I remember in the 70s, a lot of women, a lot of teenagers were coming up pregnant. And it was an interview, and they asked, well, why do you feel you have to have a boyfriend? And the women, the girls answered, to protect us from the other men. So yeah, men are kind of, like I said, they seem to have a destructive streak. And if they're not allowed, not given a definite target, then they will go home and take that out on their communities, on their families, on people who are weaker than them. And then they will feel the need to give an explanation for it, a reason why they're doing it, a way to do the same thing Adam did back in the garden. What did Adam say when God confronted him? He said, that woman that you gave me. Okay, 6 words. He condemned both Eve and God. I mean, wow. But anyway, let's continue. Okay, logic was not one of the gifts that God seemed to have given this particular person and a lot of other people, but they have been saying it. They've been saying about black women for the longest, and a lot of them were saying it because they were getting paid. And I'm thinking of rap music, and there were a lot of women who complained about rap music even when it first came out because it specifies, it looks at black women in particular. The reason being that even though most of these guys do not marry black because they're black, you figure they're talking about black women. So for him to say, well, what if we got up here and said, you've already said it, you've been saying it, you've said it to the point where this is not a matter of you even hurting anybody's feelings. This is a matter of self-preservation where women are trying to remain alive and also just not wanting to be bothered. Like, okay, many of us have already been with the 4B movement. We recognize that some of y'all are just dangerous, and you say vet, but vet means that you have to be open to the person to see what they are. Sometimes by the time you see what they are, it's too late. And no matter how great sex might be, it's just not worth risking your life if you can possibly help it. But again, let's continue on with what he's saying. Destroying your neighborhood and the women who give birth to you. No, that's weird. Self-preservation is not weird. That is instinctive. That's a gift God gave everyone to keep everyone going. Well, if someone is a misandrist, but they're not harming you, okay, then let them be a misandrist. The same way we kind of feel about you, or at least I feel about you. Maybe a few other women feel like, I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't think I'm attractive. I don't care what you think as long as you don't bother me. Just stay over there, think whatever you want to think, and everything's good. So, why do you care so much about women liking you? And explain to me, what reason have you given women to like you? But let us continue. Well, she goes on with a few other people, but that was the one that I wanted to showcase as being, as illustrating that the 4B movement and what the Savior said, they're similar. And also that when the Savior said it over 2,000 years ago, he told you that when this becomes what people are saying, it's a mark. It's telling you that we're in the last days. So, being in the last days, we're also told to rejoice for your deliverance is coming near. And this is definitely not misandrous because we're waiting for a man to come back. And when he comes back, he is he's going to liberate those who follow him. So no, don't dislike me and dislike stupid people, but dislike stupid people. Stupid people with power are terrifying because they can go off on something that is illogical, harmful, doesn't make any sense, but because they have power, they can enforce it. And let me not have this guy's face on here because he's not doing anything. It's this one that is trying to make you feel stupid by being I forget what the word is, but by acting like what you're saying doesn't make any sense by his demeanor, by his smiling, like, oh, you're so silly, you're speaking nonsense. When actually, no, he's speaking nonsense and things that are illogical. And at the same time, a lot of men will scream about how they are logical and not emotional while they're screaming at you. That doesn't make sense. It's just like the whole thing where you're told that you're told that you're second class as a woman. You're you're not that important. He's important, but everything that goes wrong is your fault. How is that possible? That doesn't make any sense. If I can make things go wrong, I at least have the power to make things go wrong. And if he's stronger than me, doesn't he have the power to stop it from going wrong? No, I can't be that destructive and be weak. No. But I will tell you from what I've learned in life is there is almost nothing worse than a weak man. A weak man is a waste of your time, he's even a waste of his own time. But, you know, think what you want to think. But my bottom line, what I'm saying is that what's happening is not new. The Savior told you what's going to happen. No matter what name you give, whatever new movement you have, it's not a new movement. He already told you. And what's more, and I feel like give the Savior the respect. People come out and say, I can't stand the Bible. I'm educated. I'm an educated woman. I know. Yeah, okay, fine. But he told you this was going to happen before any psychologist, psychiatrist, social media person, or anybody else told you that this is what's going to happen. And this is the reason it's going to happen. So I feel like give the Savior the respect, give the Most High the respect. He deserves both of them. Well, you guys, you have a great rest of your day.